my comment said that Mark Douglas's partner, I guess, threatened to sue them for whatever for having him up. So give me 1 second to set up shop here. Forget to change the date. Longs are playing out. If you took them, I couldn't because I wasn't ready to trade, but some pretty easy analysis. I am hoping it pulls back so I can hop in because I am very not ready to trade right now. You know, the problem with this YouTube stuff is it takes me like 3 times as long to get ready to go. I'm never ready to trade at the 10:30 Eastern mark. Okay. Still not even close to getting ready or being ready to trade. I have to fill out my journal and stuff, but I am very bullish still. Any pullback is kind of a dip buy at the moment. NQ's a lot stronger than ES. So I'm probably at least going to clear this blue line, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a run all the way back to supply. We didn't really sweep this level by much. We literally swept it by 1 tick, so that's kind of the only downside. And that's almost close enough to be a perfect double bottom. So if we do start coming down, I would be completely open to entering shorts here. Looks like today's trades are going to be smaller than they have the last few trading days because I don't know, there's just less volatility today. Yeah, I'm never going to remember to clear my Discord screen. Oh, the 19 flat, yeah, that's 3 ticks under the pre-market low. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean I'm confirmed into ES short right now, but I would rather hop in on NQ. I don't know. Because NQ could still be bullish. This could be a bullish pullback. It's not really looking like it anymore. Um, but it looks like I'm gonna have to enter shorts. Yeah, I'm liking NQ more. I'll wait for the last 10 seconds though, no matter what. So hopefully this candle isn't massive. It's a buying wick. I could still be triggered in. Hang on, let me see if that buying wick goes away. I'm gonna have to hop in. It is not going away. And if we go back up, yeah, I'm triggered in the longs as well. ES does have a double bottom and low of day. That's not really a proper low of day. Very choppy day ever since news happened. No, now I'm starting to feel NQ longs. I got a little bit of breathing room. It's got to get this candle's either got to get a lot bigger, or that is a lot bigger, isn't it? Well, I opt into it. We will see what happens. I'm just confirmed in, so I'll give it a shot. We are kind of in the middle of the range, so if you want to try to avoid it, you can just wait to trade. Pretty realistic PT, but we'll see. Price action looks kind of crappy right now, but it's actually been crappy, so I'm hoping that it doesn't continue to be that way. Oops, looks like it is. It looks like ES does want that low of day level, so this is probably going to stop out, and I might have to hop into shorts. I'm about 1 week away from finishing my data on a new volatility rule that's going to change quite a bit. Oh, it just got it. And that's my silence was me considering re-entering, but I don't think I am. I perfectly got my stop loss. So starting out today right and just barely hitting stop losses. That's super, super unlucky. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna miss out on this trade. Just barely got my stop loss and shot up. I was considering re-entering, but I just don't feel like taking a bunch of losses right out the gate and terrible price action again. I gotta wait for price action to break one way or another. Conflicting. I'm bullish for this trend line to break to the upside, but I'm also bearish for ES to get new low of day. So I'm gonna wait for this to break out. I'm not gonna trade within this range. Give me a second. I'm still not even ready to trade yet. I gotta fill out my journal, so I'm gonna be quiet for a bit. Well, that pretty much hit PT. Starting off the day as unlucky as I could possibly be, because that got my stop loss on that trade literally by one singular tick right here. So terribly unlucky, and didn't even have a really high risk reward either. It was like 1.2. But I ended up getting there, so congrats if you made money on it. Super obvious analysis. Just unfortunate. Done. That is bullish. That's very bullish. I'm starting to lean bullish for pre-market high on ES. Um, yeah, that's very bullish volume as well. I would have loved to be in longs, but I just had to screw me. Did end up filling ES long for a pre-market high. I mean, I'm triggered in, so I did fill that. I'm still not done with my journal though. Man, the butterfly effect is working its magic. If I were in this long trade and it didn't stop me out, I wouldn't have entered this ES long. It could consolidate. My fill was here, and I'm really just kind of setting a similar-ish risk to award. It's not a good way to start the trade. It looks like NQ is trying to bearishly sweep. One thing that's going for it though is NQ missed this pivot. But there's still a lot of conflicting analysis. Kind of started off the day, or this session, as terrible as possible with this just barely getting my stop loss, which not only caused me to lose, but missed out on this trade that I was correct on. So we'll see if it gets any better. Looks like ES is stronger than the Nasdaq at the moment. It's actually a good amount stronger. Do not like the way NQ's trying to chop up at the moment. Still bullish, but it looks like it wants to pull back sometime soon. I can't tell if this is going to play out like a fractal head and shoulders, but it looks like ES may have flipped weak, which is really bad. Did NQ clear this top? No, not yet. There's NQ clearing it. Yeah, ES flipped weak. That is unlucky. It's a really good area for NQ to pull back. I am expecting it to happen. Hoping it's a bullish pullback, but that is a very nice. Yeah, I was hoping ES would retain its strength, and by the time NQ got to there, ES would be somewhere up here, which was very realistic. And then it would be close enough to high a day where it might as well just hit. I'm expecting Yankee to pull back more, but that buying wick is bullish, and the way this candle's opening is bullish, so it might pop up. But I'm hoping it makes another lower low and does this. That would extend this run possibly enough. Maybe not to bring it to high day. I would need to do something like this if it wanted to go to high day. There's a lower low that was predicted. You guys can't hear me? Type in chat if you guys can hear me. You guys should be able to hear me. Okay, when you guys can't hear me in the beginning, that means I'm getting set up. I'm not going to be yapping constantly. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if NQ pulls back all the way to here. That's where if it's going to go for a run for high day, it's probably going to pull back all the way to there. I'm not sure if it wants to. It's just kind of chopping up at the moment. But that would be pretty reasonable. All right, it is getting it. It looks like it's going to stop me out. That's too bearish of a pullback there. What's that for? All right, if invalidates most, I move on back in. Otherwise, I am in short. All right, we're right back in the middle of the range. Could be bullish or bearish. I'm going to have to see. Starting off 0-2 when I should be, yeah, like I said, butterfly effect kind of took place there. If this trade didn't stop me out, I'd be 1-0 right now. But because I wasn't in longs, I was triggered into that trade. And yeah, he has slipped weak on me when NQ approaches pivot. I shop ground. Thing is, NQ didn't actually reject supply, so I may have to hop right back into longs. It may have just swept my stop perfectly 2 trades in a row. And I put the stop pretty far away in that trade. I couldn't put it any further. Looks like it did. Just stop it perfectly twice in a row. What are the odds of that happening? Jeez, that is bearish on the Nasdaq. It's bearish on the Nasdaq. Looks like it's going to make a lower low, and it did make a lower low. Oh, with my journal now. ES still looks strong. I'm probably gonna have to hop back into ES longs. It really sucks that it just barely got my. Where was my thing? Yeah, it just barely got it. There's nothing I can do about that. That's just shitty price action. Second hour price action is terrible. I'm serious. I'm documenting it and I'm giving it a couple more weeks. And if the numbers look right, I may just not trade the second hour anymore because the last 2 months now have been pretty rough to trade this hour. I'm nearly confirmed back into ES longs. It's got to get up a little bit more. I'm concerned about NQ's weakness though, because I can see both sides. I can see NQ falling all the way back down, but right now ES looks clearly like a cup and handle. So typical second hour shenanigans. But lately, right when the third hour starts, that's money making time. So continues being like this for 2 more weeks. I'm not going to trade the second hour anymore, and I might just trade the third hour. Yeah, these things are doing complete opposites right now. ES is super. I'm really bullish on ES and starting to be bearish on NQ. Not super bearish on NQ yet. If I were to enter ES, it looks something like this. Like I'd have to enter right around now. That's what I'm looking at. Or you can do the opposite and enter NQ shorts. Or honestly, you can enter both opposite directions, but I typically don't do that. If this candle closes green, I'm probably going to be back into ES longs. NQ's still weak, still pretty bearish. But ES is not. I have no idea what's going to happen here. If I do hop into ES longs and the trade, the hypothesis does play out, Hive Day is way too close of a price target. It's going to go way above Hive Day, most likely. So by the time he has that high day, NQ's going to be up here, and it's probably going to push the supply. This does not. It looks like NQ's only going to bounce to form a head and shoulders, though, so I could get just baited into ES, and it does something like this. That's what I'm starting to think is going to happen. But over the last few weeks, I've just been taking every single trade. That way I get solid documentation of the times a day that tend to be worse. So you guys can be more selective, but because I'm documenting everything and I need the stats, I got to enter every trade setup I get triggered into. Expecting NQ to bounce here, but if it does, it's going to be temporary. More than likely. It's not a proper. This is a bear pennant, actually. So, I mean, it could continue down, but if it does bounce out of that, it's not going to continue. See, there's the problem. NQ's bouncing. ES is bouncing as well, but ES isn't bouncing nearly as hard as the Nasdaq. So I mean, I feel like the same thing's going to happen as last trade. I'm going to get triggered into longs just for it to come right back down. Do I allow it though? That's the question. Yeah, I allowed it. I hopped in. It's whatever. You don't have to, but like I said, I got to get in every trade. Like, because I'm documenting everything meticulously, especially revolving around the second hour, I have to get into every trade I'm triggered into. So, and I'm trading pretty light size and I'm on evaluation, so it's not that big of a deal. But I am very much so triggered in, so we'll see. Yeah, see, it's doing exactly what I said it was going to do. It might not, though. I mean, I could be wrong. No, that's perfect trend line on the Nasdaq. I've been trying to trade futures most this year very mechanically, and the last month and a half, the more mechanically I trade the second hour specifically, usually the worse it is. Whereas my discretion is more often correct. But I wouldn't know that unless I'm taking every single trade set and just documenting the results. Looks like ES is flipping strong again, but like I said, I think I drew it over here. I predicted something like this happening. But regardless, I am triggered into this trade. It's a fine trade. It's just this time of day, man, I have no confidence in this time of day. No confidence, especially because I barely stopped out of this great hypothesis that played out exactly like I thought it was going to, minus this red candle that came out of nowhere for no reason and stopped me out. Because realistically, I should be 1-0 on the day, but oh well. Big resistance area up here for ES. Yep, huge resistance area here on ES. Let's see if it sweeps it or not. NQ can reverse at any point and still put in a head and shoulders, but at the same time, I mean, it could still be a sketchy cup and handle. But like I said, I favor the head and shoulders a little bit more to be the winner. Like I said though earlier, if the head and shoulders does invalidate, which this candle's bearish, so it doesn't look like it's going to invalidate. It looks like the head and shoulders is going to play out. Um, if somehow it does invalidate and gets up to here, that's going to put ES probably all the way up here, because then NQ is going to make a push for supply. That is a very bearish doji. Let's see if NQ breaks this trend line to the downside. It is a perfect trend line, like a perfect trend line, so I am bearish for it to break. I mean, this technically is a short entry, but if I were to take shorts, this would be my PT. And the biggest concern I'd have is I think it's probably more likely to do something like this. We'll see. There's a trend line break. So predicted exactly what would happen to the most minute detail. Predicted it flawlessly. I didn't even document this. See what happens when I'm distracted. My gosh, just doing everything that I said. What did I just say it was going to do? I literally said it was probably going to do this. That's why I'd have problems going short. Let's see if it actually does get all the way back up here, though. That's what I need it to do. And now it has a decent chance of doing it. It didn't get so close to this low that I think it's likely to hit. It stayed a good distance away from it, so I don't think it's very attracted to that level. And now we have this formation. So now it looks like my ES trade may play out. Nice falling wedge on the NASDAQ. See who breaks to the upside. By the way, I'm not in that short trade on NQ. That was just me rambling. And BenQ got exactly where I said it would. Look at that. Wait, yeah, there you go. Damn, it's almost like we know how to read a chart, right? What's frustrating though, and the reason why I'm in kind of a shitty mood is because my hypotheses are 100% correct. It's just I keep getting freaking stopped out. It's so annoying. But it's because I've been trading mechanically, and I'm starting to think during the second hour I need to trade with more discretion. But I fear that that will deteriorate my psychology too much to go into the second hour and trade. You can extend your PT upwards. You know, I said there's a NQ may go for supply. You know, the width of this wedge is about yay, and that would put NQ at supply if it played out the potential of the wedge. Um, but I'm just leaving it at one tick above high a day. You know, it would be really cool if ES hit my and it's totally possible. If ES hit my PT, I filled, then NQ did something like this, and I re-enter NQ longs. That would be really nice. But type in chat, what do you guys rate that TA? Man, it freaking sucks that that first trade stopped me out. That really throwed this whole first hour for a loop. Like throwed it off the rail, throw it off rails because this freaking trade didn't stop out. I wouldn't have been in this one. But even this was a good trade. It just barely got me. So hypothesis has been pretty good. TA has been great. It's just luck of the draw of this cursed freaking second hour, man. I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of trading this hour. Every day it's like this without fail. ES is unfortunately flipping weak, but that's kind of expected because it just hit the pivot of news. I was really hoping it can hit my PT before it pulls back, so I am hoping it shoots up. Doesn't look like it wants to. I wanted it to do something like this and then pull back. That was my whole thing. And pulling back right before PT, which I do not want. If it does shoot up right now, I think it'll still pull back again. But this NQ candle does not look like it's going to be a single candle pullback. It looks like it wants to come down here. News. Yeah, there was news 30 minutes after market open. It was like the home sales and consumer confidence. I haven't looked at YouTube chat at all. I've been getting spanked by the market meanwhile, but calling it yes, we can hear you. Okay. Played that beautiful Head and Shoulders. Nice job, Shafi. Yeah, the head. I can't play that Head and Shoulders. You can if you speculate that it's gonna break to the downside and then it does. I get it, but like this PT is way too close, and I'm not bearish enough for it to get to this one. So that's not one I would play. I would just bake it into my hypothesis. So TA's been fantastic, but fortunately, yes, it's flipping weak on me at this pivot, and yeah, that's pretty weak. That is pretty weak. Now, if this drop invalidates, that's going to be bullish on ES to go way higher. But right now, the way it's dropping, that's looking pretty bearish, guys. Getting ready to get my heart broken again. Because that is not a pretty drop. And keep in mind, we already had this drop right here. But like I said, if we do invalidate this drop, depending on how we invalidate it, it would be solid. It wouldn't be bad at all to extend your PT up, but I'm not doing that. I don't have enough faith to do that. But yeah, this is, I wish it hit my PT because I'd be looking to enter NQ longs. Maybe not on this candle, maybe one more oscillation, but I'm bullish on NQ to get to supply. But you know, this whole thing is just compression. And this has been like, same thing as yesterday. Today was like a mirror image of yesterday, especially with options. I took a bad trade yesterday on options and supply high day. Did the same freaking stupid thing today, and I paid for it. Today's like a spitting image of yesterday, minus this. VS was compressing as well, then it would be. A little bull flag on the NASDAQ. I would expect one more oscillation. I really don't like the way ES is chopping up. Like, that's very concerning. I really just want to be out of this trade, to be honest. The way this is chopping up is not very nice. The nice thing is, though, with it chopping up so vertically, it's less likely to just have a big break to the downside. It's more likely that if it does break to the downside, it's going to be temporary because this is way too vertical. Not vertical when you zoom in like this, but the pullbacks are too small in relation to the legs. NQ's getting that second oscillation that I predicted. Now, it wouldn't be a complete oscillation unless it gets all the way to the bottom of this first pullback. If it doesn't do that, it still counts as an oscillation because it's in a bull pennant. I mean, you can drop the time frames and you can see this. Like, you can see the bull pennant here. So yeah, that technically was an oscillation, but that actually wasn't what I was expecting. I expected it to get all the way down, so maybe it still will. But here's your baby bull pennant. Let's see if this breaks the upside. And it's pretty easy to see on the 1 minute. But all patterns work the same on all time frames. No, it is getting the oscillation. Because it's often that pennants turn into flag, so that's what yep, it did get the other oscillation. And that's a bit more than an oscillation. And you know what? If this candle doesn't close with a buying wick, it's going to be looking like we're going to actually break this entire pennant to the downside. Typical second hour BS. Barely getting stop losses, barely missing PETs as a just lack of sweeping liquidity during this hour. When's the stupid hour over? Still have 20 minutes. That rising wedge is breaking to the downside. We'll see how far that goes. Didn't expect it to go very far. But you know, NQ look like this pennant's a big pennant. And this downside break would send us to low of day and then demand. Yeah, guys, I'm starting to lean bearish for NQ to get to low day at some point. It could still break to the upside. But what I'm saying is, even if it does break to the upside, I don't think it's going to last. But we're coming towards the end of this pennant, so price actions should be getting ready to move here. You see the volume generally decreasing as well, so it's getting ready for a break one way or another, and right now it looks like it wants to break to the downside. By the way, for everyone on YouTube and whatnot, I'm getting my new setup in 2 weeks, so I'll be able to see everything at once. So right now I don't really watch. Erico, yep, I'm about to blow my second reset with all these lousy callouts. Erica, something strikes me as you don't know how to trade. How heavy are you going, dude? Because unless you're losing like $700 per trade with your terrible sizing, you shouldn't be blowing accounts, especially during the second hour. I warn you beforehand, hey, the second hour has been shitty, but I have to get into every trade I'm triggered into because probably unlike you, I actually document everything I do meticulously in my journal. So I gather the statistics to make sure over the large series of events, I still always have the law of probabilities in my favor. So if you want statistically better price action, wait for the third hour to start. Yesterday was the same way. I started off 0-3 and then ended up winning back everything that I lost plus a little bit in the third hour. So start being a little bit more, self-dependent instead of just a sheep, just hoping things are going to go okay. Use some discretion in your trading. So this trade barely missed my PT. You got to love it. NQ broke to the downside. I'm bearish for low of day on NQ. But, I mean, I can't really do anything about it. It was a great trade. Was pretty green. Looks like it's going to make way to my stop loss. If it does invalidate most this drop, I mean, I'll be back in for new high of day. But honestly, every single day lately is just waiting for this second hour to end. And then once it ends, it's typically a lot better. Alejandro, you exited at the top. What's that mean? You were in longs and sold the top, or you were in shorts and stopped out at the top? What's that mean? Looks like it is going to make its way to my stop loss. That reversal candle just getting validated. NQ's breaking the downside, unfortunately, as expected. Yeah, really unlucky it couldn't make its way to my PT, but that's the second hour for you. Oh, you were in shorts? Yeah, you should not have been in shorts. Should not have been in shorts. You could have entered shorts here on NQ. I can't because I was triggered into this trade. This is a mirror image of yesterday, guys, starting off 0-3, and hopefully it has the same result as yesterday when the second hour starts, but I don't know. This trade has a small chance because NQ swept lower lows and has a decent chance to bounce, but now ES is a potential head and shoulders, so we will see what happens. And what's the point of this then? Eric, do you know how to, do you know how trading works, Erico? Like, how much Mark Douglas or Dr. Steenbarger or Tom Hugard have you studied? Type in chat. How much of those guys have you studied? Because something strikes me that you don't know what trading is actually about. So that selling wick that just flashed during that green candle, that's indicative that this is going to play out as a head and shoulders on ES. YouTube delay is rough today. That's fairly on purpose. It's about 10-second delay. Yep. People in the Discord have it live, like live. Not futures. This is why I'm here. Okay, sweet Erico. So here's the thing, dude. Lighten up your size. You should be trading micros. You should be able to take 10 losses in a row and you still have half of your drawdown to go on your account. I don't know why you guys, and I know why, but logically it doesn't make sense if you're here to learn and you know you have a ways to go. Okay, well, when you learn to trade, you are going to lose everything no matter what. Your job is to make your money last as long as possible and go as far as possible so that you can get the best bang for your buck as far as how many reps you can get with your money. And if you do it properly over the course of 6 months or a year, you're not going to lose all your money, but it's going to go down at a slow enough rate to where when you get to the point when you actually start understanding the probabilistic perspective that trading is, and you truly embrace the law of probabilities as a core function of your trading personality, you'll have money left to start making money with. But too many people, just throw in money trying to make money. They lose it all, come back a week later, lose it all again. It's not sufficient. It doesn't work. Man, I would really love to be in NQ shorts right now, but this second hour has been terrible. All my hypotheses ended up being correct, but I keep getting freaking stopped out. Or this trade, PT ended up missing. This trade barely got my stop loss. Barely got my stop loss, ended up going. Super, super shitty price action this second hour. Unlucky. And keep in mind, even though the second hour has been terrible, if you follow every single trade, you should be profitable, like over the last 2 weeks. And I know because I'm profitable over the last 2 weeks. Yeah, you should 100% be profitable if you followed every trade, but that's, not really the point. You're not going to become a better trader if you're just in here trying to take trades. Now, if you're in here trying to take trades, you should listen to me and say, if you trade the second hour, I would probably trade really light because it's been god awful. And I'm not just saying that, I know what I'm talking about. And the third hour is what's been pretty decent lately. Now, this last price action on NQ has been pretty good, but because I'm still triggered into this ES trade, I've been stuck in this trade and I'm not able to capitalize on this NQ downside. And I still feel like it's gonna end up coming back up. I don't know. I'm bearish for NQ new low of day. I've said that. But I still feel like it's gonna do something like this. I still feel like something like that's gonna happen. Unfortunately. It's a 2 to 3 minute delay. It's not a 2 to 3 minute delay. Click the live button. Yeah, it's like 10 seconds. You guys are on the same candle. But people in the Discord made a valid point. It's like, hey, we're in here. Why does everyone get it for free? I'm like, okay, that's fair. Put a 10-second delay on it. It doesn't really matter though, because I call out when I'm going to be triggered into a trade way before I get into one, so it doesn't really matter. I would like to be confident in this bounce, but the way NQ's this second green candle, the way it looks right now, does not look like NQ is going to sustain this bounce, unfortunately. You could celebrate even if you want to. I can't though. I have a rule. Whenever there's even a little bit of hesitation to sell at break even, I don't do it. I rarely sell at break even. That's usually not part of my strategy. But it has really solid potential. I mean, this is a cup and handle, and this is why I really, really, like I said it, I really wanted it to sweep high of day before it dropped, because if it did that, I would have taken profits right here, and then I would be back in longs here when a majority of that drop is invalidated, and I'll play it to new high of day again, or even above that, to the supply here, as a second green trade. But it just seems like a lack of volatility lately in the second hour, and a lack of just a general lack of participation in the markets is delaying price actions, delaying the amount of time to which price action takes to reach liquidity. It's taking way longer to get there, and it's chopping a lot more beforehand. So like if I took profits on this trade, let's say it hit PT, I would be back in this trade right here. Now, it is totally possible that if I took profits on this trade, I would have been stopping out of NQ shorts, because NQ also missed high low of day. But now be careful. We have double fake prophecy on NQ. We faked one way, watch for it to fake the other way, and then go the original way. Watch for that. That prophecy has been happening nearly every time lately. I'd say like 7 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10 it's been happening. You could extend your PT further away. Now that NQ made lower lows, NQ looks good to get at least above this trend line, maybe to this high. I'm not going to do that though. This trade was already hell, and I thought it was very likely to stop out there. So it's lucky that it didn't, but it's also unlucky that it didn't hit PT here. This whole session's been super unlucky. Man, this really bugs me that this trade got my stop loss by a single tick. This was a great trade. A lot of you guys made money on this because it was such a good trade. Mark says, I learned from Bryce a few years ago and he made me a full-time trader. We trade differently nowadays, but my advice is if you know what you're doing on paper trading and only journal it. Yep. That's awesome, Mark. I'm glad that's working out for you. Yeah, there's a lot of people that I've helped a lot of people actually become profitable full-time traders. I would say more people than not trade very similar to the way I do. But no one has the same personality. Not everyone's trading style works for them. The general keys to trading, though, is all the same. Once you understand probabilities, and once you're disciplined enough to journal, review what you're doing, and spend an hour a day or so studying psychology, it doesn't matter what you do or what strategy you're using, you are eventually guaranteed, it's statistically guaranteed that you're going to be profitable over the large series of events. It is statistically guaranteed. But a lot of people just Discord kind of brainwashed a lot of people. Most people are just trained to find the right analyst, try to flip profitable, try to become a profitable trader without training themselves. They're searching outwards. They're searching outside of themselves to break through the threshold of consistency when really it's inside you that needs to be fixed. Oof, we just swept a higher high on ES. Yep, we just swept a higher high. That could reverse us. I don't think it's very likely. I don't think it's very likely at all. I think we're probably still going to hit BT. But we'll see. I would be more confident if NQ actually got all the way to this trend line, but it did not. Gotta love the second hour, guys. Look at this. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. I freaking dread coming in. I'm starting to for the last 2 weeks, because you guys don't know on YouTube, but this has been happening since the beginning of October. It's ridiculous. And I've been trading the second hour futures every single day since February. Been great, but ever since early/mid October, and now look, now it's looking like a decent NQ short trade to low a day again. Now it's chopping down, so unless it closed down here, I wouldn't take it. But I've been dreading coming in here trading the second hour because it's statistically it's so wildly been unprofitable. Type your votes in chat. You guys think we're going to miss PT and end up stopping out, or you guys think we're going to end up hitting PT? You cannot make this price action up. You can. I really wish that. Man, I'm going to think about it this entire time. If this freaking trade didn't stop out by a single tick, if I just flicked my mouse a tiny bit lower to place my stop loss, this would have been a green trade, and this would have been a green trade. We'd be 2-0 right now. So annoying. I hate that so much. Just like you guys. Definitely deteriorates the psychology. Okay, that looks pretty good for NQ to break to the upside. ES is probably going to go a decent amount higher than high of day. If NQ does break to the upside, yeah, it's technically a long trade there, but I don't think I want to trade it. I'd want to enter there. Or if we do something like this, I would personally be okay with taking a stab on NQ short if that happened. Because it is bearish consolidation. It does have a decent risk to award. But I do think it has a pretty decent likelihood of playing out if NQ sweeps the higher high. The only concern is this trend line here on ES. The nearest negatively sloping trend line on ES. Well, that's a confirmed trendline retest there and a rejection. NQ's trying to ruin it. But yeah, if NQ did do this and came back down, I think I would be okay taking a short. Let's see, NQ's trying to make me stop out of my trade right now. No, beyond likely to hit PT. Like, beyond likely. If this candle closes without some magical massive selling wick, this candle closes and holds a majority of its green body, it'll hit PT. Not for sure, but the odds are there. Now, the problem is, it doesn't look like NQ. It's starting to look like there's a chance ES is going to hit my PT without NQ sweeping this high. I know I was willing to enter shorts if it sweeps this high and come back down, but am I willing to enter shorts if it doesn't? Type in chat, what would you guys do? If this doesn't sweep the high and ES hits this PT and NQ drops, would you guys be willing to enter short here within this channel in pursuit of low a day, even though NQ did not sweep sell side liquidity? That's a tough decision. And as you guys trade, if you guys are subjective traders, this is what you need to think about. Is you always got to think about what's next, because if you're not thinking about what's next, I think about all the possibilities of what could happen, and I try to think about, okay, what am I likely to do? And if I can make those decisions in advance, my risks for entering mind freeze drop way, way, way down, and I'm gonna be able to execute my edge flawlessly right when I need to do without thinking because I've already thought about it. And pretty good. By the way, for all you guys in the chat, if you want to take trading seriously and you love trading as much as I do, watch this entire series that's on my YouTube. Watch the freaking thing. Do not be lazy. It will change your life. Watch that series once every other week minimum. So all 7 parts, and then the notes. Read those notes. If you really want change, and you want to drastically shorten your learning curve, read the notes in the descriptions of those videos. Read the notes every single day. It's like a shorter version of those videos, about 25-minute read. Every single day, reinforce your psychology. You do not know how to be profitable unless you watch those videos, or you lose absolutely everything beforehand, and even then it's pretty rare. If you watch those videos, you'll finally learn how to be profitable, and you're gonna have something to work towards. Before you start studying psychology, you have nothing to work towards. You assume you have psychology, blah blah. You've been trading, so your psychology is good. It's the opposite. The longer you trade, the worse your psychology gets. Let me document this trade. Did it fill my PT? It did fill my PT. I'm down $180 per account. That's not bad. This is a lot like yesterday, folks. This is a lot like yesterday. Remember, I was only down 180 after being down 1,000. I wasn't down that much though today. I was really thinking I was going to start off 0-3. But like I said, you could move your PT further away. If NQ breaks us to the upside, it's fairly likely to do so. I already decided in advance I'm not going to do it, which is fine. I would have, like I said, guys, I really wish today could have been great. This trade didn't stop out. If this hit PT here, like I said, really wish it did because I expected it to pull back and I expected it to make a cup and handle. I would have re-entered longs there for another win, but that's not what the market gave me, so I'm not going to keep whining about the past. Okay. NQ's kind of in a bear pennant, but it's in this channel. ES is going to get to that next supply if it breaks the upside. Type in the Discord chat. Are you guys willing to take NQ shorts if we drop here? What do you guys think? I'm really 50-50 on it. If I do take it, it's a good enough trade to get in. It's fine. But do I want to do it? Type in chat. What do you guys think? The second hour is finally. You cannot make this up. You guys, you cannot make this up. Oh my gosh. Hang on. We're going back to yesterday. You cannot make this up, guys. I was 0-3 yesterday during the second hour. When did I finally have my first green trade? At the start of the third hour. Look, the third hour started right here. My trade hit PT half a candle into the third hour. Today, started off 0-2, was almost 0-3, which is BS. My hypotheses were correct today. Yesterday they weren't. Today they were correct. I got my stop losses got swept. It doesn't count. But anyway, started off 0-2. First trade hit, the candle of the third hour. Like, you cannot make this up. Like, I legitimately dread trading the second hour because it's so BS, guys. I don't know what to do. This hasn't happened at all this year, so you cannot make it up. It is crazy. But you know what? Even though it's the start of the third hour, price action isn't looking too much better. But you know, I think I'm gonna take the shorts. It's a really tough decision. I don't like. It's gotta come down here. But this is a perfect trend line on NQ. I'm bullish for this trend line to break. But this is gonna be bearish consolidation plus ES is now possibly bearishly swept high of day. That's a really hard decision, folks. But anyways, you cannot make that up. It's like superstitious at this point. Yesterday started off 0-3, first green trade, right at the turn of the third hour. Same thing here. Crazy. Yeah, I do want it to make a higher high than reject. Otherwise, I don't really have. I mean, my bullish PTs are all the way up here. My bullish pivot 60-40 is all the way up here. So we're nowhere near it. I am leaning overall bullish for it to get there because, you know, it's invalidated majority of the move. But NQ, man, it's so weak. They've been going opposite directions. Look, they've literally been going opposite directions. So, I mean, it can really go either way. I do really hope Enki can do something like this. That would be cool. Otherwise, I mean, you could get into NQ longs up here, but the PT is really close. I mean, it's just looking at supply. And that PT is too close for me. That's a perfect trend line, guys. I don't want to enter short of the perfect trend line there, but I also don't want to miss out on this hypothesis. You know what I mean? Such a difficult decision. Very difficult. I don't need this trend line here. I can't have this one here, though. Please break to the upside. I need it to break to the upside, or else it's going to put me in a really hard spot. If it can break to the upside, then I can relax. Then if it goes down, I can take a confident short trade that kind of checks all the boxes. Win or lose doesn't matter. And then, you know, if it continues up, I could go long. I'm going to draw this out. I feel like I'm just going to end up getting into the short, guys. Yeah, this candle's closing right. This candle's closing right. In the last 10 seconds, if the candle stays like this, I'm in short. Is it going to stop me out right away? Maybe. This is up to you guys. This is like a very, very, very hard decision. Oh, it rejected my order. Hang on. Okay, I failed. Well, I have the world's tightest stop loss, or just much tighter than the average one has been lately. Made the decision. You don't have to if you don't want to. Well, if you're still waiting, wait for this green candle to go away. It looks bad with this green candle here right now. Have to put my stop loss that tight. I had to get in above this low. Give this trade as much cushion as possible. And then you could, if it does break to the downside, I mean, we could look at a drop all the way to demand, but it's hard for me to assume that's going to happen, even though the third hour, if it does play out, the third hour has been a lot more generous. Um, Giving me place. What is this? So do be 1925. Now it's looking like it wants to bounce. ES looks good for new high of day. So it looks like it just barely got me, which I mean, it's whatever. It was already a super hard decision. They got a super bearish candle. If that candle is any less bearish, put in any buying wick whatsoever, I would have not got in. So that was just kind of destiny that I had to get in. Looks like the second hour is going a little bit long today. Yep. That's a quick stop loss. Small loss though, but what can you do? Feel like it was half and half. Half you guys took it, half you guys didn't. Impossibly hard decision. But that candle was bearish enough to get me in. I feel like volatility in the market's dropping as we're heading towards Thanksgiving. It's really not doing good. I had a feeling that would happen. That's why it was such a hard decision. But if that can't, like I said, if that candle is any less bearish, I would have not been in that trade. That damn perfect trend line, I knew it. Perfect trend line is such an issue. It's going to break eventually. You just don't know when it's going to. But I'm still leaning bearish on NQ. ES and NQ have literally been going different ways. So unless NQ just starts kind of breaking to the upside here, I think ES is likely to get to the supply, then just turn around. I'm only down by about one larger green trade at the moment. You gotta be shitting me, guys. Am I gonna have to get back in? It's gonna be stop loss central if this thing keeps chopping, and it's chopping. If that buying wick goes away, guys, I might have to get in. That's a huge volume spike on ES indicating reversal. But the buying wick isn't so bearish. What I love about waiting for the last 10 seconds sometimes is it avoids me from getting triggered into trades like that. Guys, I fear I'm gonna have to get. I wanted NQ to sweep that all the way. I want to sweep all the way up here before I have to get back in, but guys, I'm gonna have to get in, aren't I? Don't get in if you're not willing to stop out. I got 5 seconds left to make a decision. Yep, I'm triggered in. I filled it. We'll see what happens, I guess. Is it going to be the same thing? It very well could be, but I mean, I can't do anything about it. That's just the price action I'm giving right now. Do not enter this trade if you're not willing to stop out. Do not enter. Wait until it drops all the way down here to enter. And starting off with a terrible candle right away. But it made a higher high, or sorry, a higher low again. So not too terrible. This trend line is still valid. That is a potential reversal candle. Protect your psychology, guys. If you're not willing to take a loss, don't take it. Think about what your psychology is going to be if this ends up going. If you get triggered right back into this trade, if you're in the exact same situation as me, protect your psychology. If you're not willing to stop out twice in a row, don't do it. It's going to cost you a lot more than the potential win of this trade. And it's trying to put in a morning star. That's a bullish candlestick pattern. Not doing a good job at holding it though. This candle can't have a selling wick if it's going to be morning star. So there's one lower low. There's two lower lows. All right, well, at least this trade started off green, you know? Could be worse. So I said it wasn't, even though this candle was kind of bullish, it wasn't super bullish because it did not make a lower low. Now it has, so now it could go back up. BT's far away. You guys can take profits early if you want. It depends on what your average loss and your average win is. You know, if your average loss is smaller, you can totally go for just this. But that's a bullish reversal candle on NQ, and that really sucks because that's happening right after ES just made a lower low with a buying wick. So I don't know. It looks like ES may just want to grind to the upside, and maybe just want to grind to this pivot up here, and that's really preventing NQ from getting down. I also wouldn't be surprised if NQ ends up flipping stronger than ES because it's hitting all that buy side liquidity. Yeah, it did flip stronger. That was a good entry. Very valid trade. Still has a chance, but the chances just got hurt a little bit with that reversal candle. Maybe hurt a lot with that reversal candle. We'll see how this candle closes. Right now, it looks like ES is going to get high a day. That's probably going to put NQ somewhere near my stop loss if it is strong. That's a textbook reversal volume spike though, guys, on ES, especially in supply 2. That volume spike that happened in ES is a textbook reversal volume spike. Very indicative of a reversal. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, you know? It could fly on up. But statistically speaking, that's very indicative of a reversal. Especially because there was no news at that time or anything. But yeah, NQ stronger. It's not looking too good anymore. Was looking good for a second. I cannot make this up. What's up with the price action I'm getting lately? Like, this is ridiculous. Is Bitcoin still pulling back all the way? Yeah, it had a little bit of a healthy pullback there. Keep in mind, I'm bullish for ES to get to all-time highs. Looks like the Santa rally's in full effect. It's a bullish daily candle. Very bullish daily candle on ES. Not so much on NQ. I want to see that reversal volume play out. That was really good reversal volume in supply too. And you know what? NQ is so weaker, so much weaker than ES. If ES even just pulls back to here, I think it's going to clear my PT by a mile on NQ. I think we're going to drop all the way to demand. Because that, like, as for in a supply and demand sense, you guys that know supply and demand, has to be in a zone, abnormal volume spike, trend break, you're confirmed in. Well, you got the volume spike, you're in supply. You do not have a trend break though. So you could get in. I wouldn't. I'd be in NQ like I am right now because it's weaker. But that's the only thing stopping you from getting in is a trend break. But that's textbook volume spike there. And obviously the opening volume doesn't count, and like news volume 30 minutes after open doesn't count. You're not always going to have a trend line break. Like right here, you got a volume spike in reverse, but there's no trend to break, so you got to use some discretion. I don't know if ES wants to allow NQ to go down, guys. Like, I don't know what ES is doing today. It's on a mission. Okay, there's that first lower low on NQ. That's first PT. So if you guys wanted a closer PT, there it is. It's not my PT though, but I think that is still 1-to-1. Yeah, it's still 1-to-1 if you guys want it. But even demand isn't a bad PT. It's just, is ES going to pull back or not? If ES pulls back, NQ is going to go right to demand. But I'm not really expecting a huge drop on ES. I think it's going to be hard for NQ just to get to the PT that I have, which is just low of day. I'm kind of treating this level like a double bottom, but it's one tick below low of day. ES just made a lower low with a buying wick. That's indicative of a bounce. We will see if that holds. So that is now a little falling wedge. Not really expecting it to bounce. That'd be kind of weird if it did, but the candlesticks say it's definitely a strong possibility. It looks like NQ is finally flipped stronger than ES, which makes sense. I mean, we're on huge support here. I will say though, guys, if we break through low a day, the volume profile drops off all the way into here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we plummet all the way through here. But I'm not changing my PT because, like I said, I think it's gonna be very hard in itself just to get to this PT. Like, look, it's bouncing before it even gets there. And unfortunately, that's a very hard bounce. That is a solid reversal signal on the NASDAQ. NQ stronger than ES, and ES does not look bearish right now with those lower lows. Oh, well, folks, looks like I'm going to have a bright green to red trade. That's what it's looking like. That's looking like a long entry, actually. Unlucky. Super unlucky. I did flip green there, though. I did flip green there for about a second. Flipped green on the day, and then it just got stolen. That's really bullish, guys. We're chopping down on NQ. The confidence for this trade to hit. I would be very lucky now if this went back down to PT. Very lucky. That was a huge volume spike. We have swept lower lows on the NASDAQ. This whole thing looks like a huge falling wedge. Honestly, I'm very tempted to sell right now, but I'm too hesitant. I'm just going to let it play out. Letting it play out is really never really the wrong answer. It's very rarely the wrong answer. But yeah, this is totally a not good is what it is. Totally not good. It was a great trade, though. Flawless trade. I'm jealous of you guys who went with the closer PT. Looks good to break a trend line to the upside, unless somehow, some way shorts show up and just push this thing back down. But I'm fully expecting this to stop out at the moment. I give it like a solid 75% chance, 80% chance. What a scam. Yep, thank you guys in chat. You guys know me so well. Yeah, what a freaking scam. I mean, I did warn you guys, to be fair. I mean, you guys did put in the lower low with the buying wick, which was indicative of a bounce. I didn't think it was going to actually happen, though. It did. And NQ is a lot stronger than ES, so this doesn't just look like it's going to stop out. This looks like it's not going to come back down here anytime soon. It looks like it's going to do something like this. If it does stop me out and come right back down, rest in peace to my psychology, because that'll be the third time. That is freaking bullish on NQ, guys. If that hit my PT, I'd be entering long right now. I will say that. Yeah, if that hit my PT, I would be entering longs. On the last candle, actually. This candle's fine, too. But that is very bullish, very strong. It's playing out as such. Man, I wish it hit PT. I would be in longs. I would have had just 2 green trades in a row. I'd already hit my stop loss. I don't even know where my stop loss was, actually. I think it was a bit closer than that. Only minus 230. I'll take that. What was that at then? My stop loss was like right here. Well, that freaking sucks. Can't do anything about it. It was a phenomenal trade. Just a terribly shitty day as far as price action's concerned. Now I'm triggered into longs, but this, I mean, they can go down at any point. It missed my pivot here. Yeah, you could trade longs all the way back up here, but honestly, I don't even want to touch longs unless we get to here. So I'm gonna wait and hang out. If it gets to here, I'm probably gonna take longs. It's bullshit that it didn't get to my PT, because if that got to my PT, like I said, I would have been in longs right here, and this is a super, super easy green trade. Very unfortunate. It's a bad day. It's first red day of the week. Or since I don't even know when. I mean, technically Friday probably would have been a red day for me, but I didn't actually trade Friday at all. Thursday was a bright green day of last week. Tuesday was a green day. Or sorry. Yeah, Friday didn't trade. I think Friday would have been a red day though. But Thursday was bright green. Wednesday was mild green. Tuesday was bright green. And Monday was green. I only had one red day last week, and that was a paper trading day. And the Friday before that was, I don't even know. I think the Friday before that was slight red. Almost had it. Almost had it there. Was so damn close. This bullshit price action is probably going to trigger me back into shorts. I don't expect it to happen, though. I expect it to go back up. Except I can't have as good of an average as I did. Actually, yeah, I could. All right, well, I can't get in until all the way down here, or I can't get in long still up here. Well, I was going to hang out on my phone, but it's actually looking kind of close. It still missed the sell side. Like, damn, dude, if this just swept the damn sell side one time, it would have hit my PT on either of my shorts. I'm kind of convinced that it didn't hit this because it didn't sweep this sell side here, and it wasn't enough to power through these buy orders. So I'm gonna be pretty annoyed if I have to get back in shorts without a sweeping sell side. I'm gonna have to. It's bullshit, guys. This is bullshit. Terrible price action. 0 out of 10. But honestly, now I'd rather just extend my PT all the way to demand if I entered. We'll see. I mean, I'm open to giving it one more shot. Would be another tight stop loss. I cannot have a buying wick on my entry. Really wanted to sweep sell side. And ES, it did not help me at all during that downtrend. ES just did not want to get one more red candle. What, today would be my first red day since since the 18th. What was that, Monday? Yeah, Monday. First red day since, wait, no, Monday was a green day. Technically first red day since Friday, but I didn't trade Friday, so I thought I had a red day last week on futures. I think I did. No, nope, didn't have a single red day last week. I think the 15th was the 15th was actually my last red day. 15th of November, and that was red by one full red trade. So it wasn't even a big red day. So that's a potential long entry if you want it. I hesitated too much. I wasn't ready to enter longs. Really, the long entry should have been on the close of this candle. You know it's at least going to get to this high. Well, it's probably going to get to up to here. And by here is where I agreed that I would enter longs. So an earlier entry would have been here, and it would have been a crazy risk to award, but not actually that bad of a probability of working out. Like that would be the trade. Crazy risk to award. Yeah, I called it. Damn, I wasn't ready to enter longs. Like I just glanced at my chart, glanced up from my journal at my chart. I'm like, you know what? That's actually a potential long entry. Now I gotta wait. I can't enter here. You can if you think it's gonna get, but I gotta wait till it gets up here. But you know what? This missing this low really bugs me. But you know, I don't actually know. ES is chopping up too bad. But yeah, I can't enter on this high anymore. It's tempting. Like the only place I could have entered, and it was a risky early entry, was on this candle. It's tempting to enter here. I still think it's probably going to get up, but you know, it's on that pivot now. That's taking a continuation trade on a pivot, which is here. I can't do that, so I got to wait. But you know, I don't really want to be entering. Look how weak this ES uptrend has been. ES has been chopping up. Typically, chopping up is bearish, so this is a freaking mess. This is a mess. This chopping up on ES. Like, do I really? So if I enter NQ longs, well, no, it's stronger than ES now though. So I don't know. This is actually, this right here, this second's a good entry on NQ. Too bad I gotta wait for candles to close. Because we pulled back, we invalidated the pullback. Going into the selling wick, that's pretty good. I gotta wait for the candles to get closer to closing to enter though, unfortunately. But it is clearly stronger than ES. I think ES wants to pull back though, and I think it's gonna try to drag NQ down. Would have been nice if I did that while I was in my short trade. That's why I let the candles close. Don't make any decisions within the last 10 seconds, so still waiting. Looks like ES wants to break this trend line to the downside. Yep, where was this weakness when I needed it? Starting to consider shorts again because we swept that pivot. That was good discipline of not getting in, even though I wanted to get in. Yeah, I mean, I can take a short trade to this pivot, but by that time, because it swept sell side and it's came up further down, I do have a good excuse to play it all the way down to demand. That'd be crazy risk to reward. It really would. I am considering it. And I mean, you could take you could enter here. It would have a crazy risk to reward. And you'd be betting that NQ's gonna flip weaker than ES. I am tempted to enter, not gonna lie. And I do want to extend my entry a little bit because my entry would realistically be right here. But if you can enter right around here above the low of this buying wick, it's probably going to get down here anyways. So you would have been in regardless. But I don't want to, I have a hard time taking ES short, even though it currently looks a bit weaker, because it's been stronger this entire time. All right, so if this candle closes like this, even though it got lower than the buying wick, I couldn't enter before the buying wick because of my 10-second rule. If the candle closes without that buying wick, I may have to opt in. This buying wick right here looks really sketchy though. Okay, so I can enter now. I did fill it. Right there started validating the buying wick. Well, I do have a very, very tight stop loss again. You know, if I lose this trade, it'll be a red day. It'll be a red day by 2 average green trades, which is not a bad red day at all. Considering I only won one single trade, feels like I just got scammed all day today, man. You know, this hypothesis was correct. Barely got my stop loss. This one here was correct. Barely got my stop loss. Barely missed my PT, so I missed out on one extra green trade because I would have re-entered longs there. And this one barely was. I'm not surprised that triggered my stop loss, but was barely just enough to get me in the trade in the first place because this candle was barely bearish enough. And this one barely missed PT. So today's just been a day of getting robbed, honestly. It's getting robbed today. So NQ is unfortunately stronger than ES. I kind of wanted to enter ES, but it's just hard for me to do it because it's been going up this entire time, and ES has been so unreliable price action wise. And that long that I took on ES, the only green trade I had was so unbearable the entire time that I just rather enter NQ. But it looks like that's kind of hurting because NQ is a hell of a lot stronger than ES right now. It is a lot stronger than ES. And by the way, as far as supply confirmation, right? So you had your volume spike. You can't enter here because it didn't break your trend line. This would be your entry here for your confirmed in short supply by supply confirmation here. And I mean, you can put a PT here. It's not a bad PT. You can put your stop loss here, wherever you want. Looks like that supply confirmation is playing out. I don't know if it's going to continue doing so. NQ made a lower low of the buying wick, barely. That's bullish. That's why it's reacting like that. Looks like this trade's going to stop out. My stop loss is super close for a reason. You know, I'm not really willing to have today more red than just 2 trades. And considering that I'm about to be what it looks, actually, not, it doesn't look too bad anymore. The selling wick is helping, but, you know, without the selling wick, it looks like I'm going to be 1 in 4 today. Wait, 1 in 5 today. Being red by 2 trades is not bad at all. Unlike yesterday, though, my red trades are the hypothesis still ended up being correct. I didn't have one hypothesis that was wrong or didn't at least almost play out. This was the only one that was technically wrong. And possibly this one could be too. Yep, that is very bullish on NQ. So that is very, very, very bullish. The fact that invalidated that selling wick looks like that was a bear trap. This price action's dog shit, guys. If you're trading, you should be trading very light because this is going absolutely nowhere. I am ready for it to actually go up. I am considering taking one more long trade, like right here. But I don't know if I want to. I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. This is a very solid long trade, but I just don't trust that it's going to keep going. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it looks great for 3 minutes and then ends up looking terrible. But I put my stop loss super close for a reason. I'm not willing to be more red than 2 red trades or 2 green trades. That's a bullish red candle. Next candle should be green on NQ. Or the end of this candle is going to be green. We'll see. If this red candle stays small and closes with a buying wick, the next candle is very likely to do something like this. This is short stepping in right now, and they're probably about to get squeezed out. Never mind. That is not a very bullish red candle. Oh, wait. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's closing bullish. Damn. There was a glimmer of hope there, but this candle's closing bullish. Shorts look like they're getting ready to get squeezed out. There's like a 3% chance that buying wick invalidates. Expecting this to pop up any second. This thing is 1 green candle away from short squeezing. Price action gets back up to here again. It's squeeze time. Oh yeah, here it is. So this right here, this candle, if the context was different, I would enter longs on this candle. I really would. But today's been such a terribly shitty day. I'm not entering within the range again. Close with a selling wick though. I still think it's going to make its way up to here, but the fact that it made this higher high and got a selling wick is not that bullish. Still very bullish overall, but keep in mind, I put my stop loss here because I believe if it invalidates these 2 big red candles, it's going to go to that liquidity, which means why would I put my stop loss up here if I know it's going to get up there or very likely to get up there once it gets to here? think this may be the worst future session price action we've had over the last 2 weeks. There was a couple other days that were really bad, but this isn't terrible. The entire second hour and the entire third hour, nothing. The only decent something this third hour, aside from just barely getting to this PT, was longs from here to here. That was the only trade that was available during this hour so far. And I couldn't get in because obviously I was in a short trade. That was a way better trade. It just barely missed my PT. So there was one single trade that I possibly could have made money on during this second hour. And that was only if I only showed up right at that second. I had to have just showed up to the market right here to where I wasn't already in a short. And then I would consider taking it. I'm very, very surprised though that it did not stop me out and go to this high though. That is very interesting. That's just a testament to how unpredictable this price action is right now. I'll take it though. So, very good excuse to move your stop loss down below this high. No shot in hell it comes all the way back up to here without sweeping my original stop loss. Impossible, no way. 99.9% chance. So I did move my stop loss down just a little bit. This loss is going to be even smaller now. ES is a really fractal head and shoulders that I'm not very bearish on. However, this double top is technically a bearish double top. You know, I don't highlight or really play double tops or double bottoms like the regular patterns, but you know, this one made a higher high right here, and it looks like this double top could be playing out. So obviously this is the neckline here. You find your PT with the width, which would mean the PT is actually here. Oh wait, that aligns with this pivot. That's also a nice double bottom. Not to be an optimist, folks, but this actually has a chance. This actually has a small chance right now. Because this double top, its potential on ES is this low, and just so lines up that the width of this double top is just enough to get it to that major pivot. It's a very solid chance right there. And NQ's weaker on top of it. There's a chance. Now imagine. Oh wait, hang on. I gotta put my PT. 650. Now I'm going for demand, which, and keep in mind, I'm still not confident in this trade. I'm trying to stop myself from having hope because if this thing looks great and then all of a sudden reverses, it's going to hurt my psychology tenfold. Like it's just going to destroy it, right? So I try to stay a pessimist. But anyways, I'm going for demand. Knock on wood, imagine if it just hit my original PT and shot up. Oh, that would suck. But the reason I'm going for demand is because it invalidated a much larger bounce. It swept sell side liquidity. And because so much buyers got triggered in right here, I would assume there's an extreme lack of liquidity here now, of extreme lack of support. And I'm hoping that once it gets down to this low, it induces a stop loss right down to demand because of now it sucked up all the liquidity right here. We'll see if that happens. ES is still getting lower lows with buying, which is a red flag. Didn't document this trading on. Study your guys' psychology, by the way. If your psyche is feeling deteriorated, figure out why. And don't do anything stupid. Today's an easy day to lose your psychology. I'll tell you that much. Today has been horrid. Horrid day. But you know what? Hang on. What's 165 times 5? Oh my gosh. If this hits PT, there's a chance I could be green on the day. If you guys want to be more realistic and just go for new low of day, you totally can, but especially with NQ being weaker than ES, I don't know if it's going to stay that way. I'm going to stay true to my hypothesis. See what happens. I do not like that ES is sweeping lower lows and bouncing, though. I'm definitely seeing that lack of support, though, that I talked about. This area, just anywhere within this buying wick, this is going to be the area of support. But like I said, my hypothesis is that because it sucked up too much liquidity, or most of it, the last bounce, it's not going to have much left to bounce it. We'll see. It's bouncing it right now. Wait, there's FOMC today? Oh my gosh, why did I not see that there's FOMC today? That explains it, folks. That explains it. I don't think it's a very big deal. It's not a big FOMC. That explains it, though. That explains it. Now, if I knew about FOMC, would I have traded today any differently? I don't really think so. All my hypotheses were good. All my trades were fine. It's just been unlucky. It's been sweeping my stops and barely missing PTs. That's just what's been happening, unfortunately. But yeah, that totally explains why price action's so god awful today. And not just for the second hour, but for all of it. NQ flips stronger than ES, unfortunately. Looks like it wants to go for a bounce. I'd be surprised if this was a high bounce. I'm definitely leaning bearish now. Very bearish. So we'll see, I guess. What is FOMC? Can you explain, please? Yeah, it's the Fed. It's the Fed minutes. Yeah, FOMC is the minutes of the Fed November FOMC meeting. It's not a really big deal, but they're gonna. I've never watched the minutes of the Fed FOMC. Has anyone watched it? It's just pretty much a summary of what they're doing and why they're doing it, right? In all my going on 5 years of trading, I don't think I've ever watched minutes of Fed FOMC live. I've only watched Powell talk. But anyways, it's pretty much a big report on, it's just an update on the direction that the Fed is going to take. It's just a recording of their meeting, yeah. Well, that's Bear Pen on ES. It would be a shame if it broke to the upside, knock on wood. But again, I'm still feeling like a heavy pessimist today. Moving my stop loss down a little bit more, it does not need to be this high. I can get away with it being right there, and it would have no change on the outcome. Right? If it gets all the way back up to here, no shot it's not getting to this high. So just a tiny bit more. So yeah, if this does stop out, I'm red on the day by 2 normal sized green trades. That's not bad, especially for if this trade stops out, I'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd have 5 red trades and a 1 green trade. The fact that I'm only down by 2 green, it would take me 2 green trades to make back what I lost today. That's fine by me. It's whatever. Price action was terrible. Whenever you start beating yourself up or getting frustrated at your being red, look at the price action. Does the price action warrant you being red? For me, absolutely it does. Absolutely warrants it. So it's not a big deal. And it was still almost green. Don't get like this freaking long, barely missing my stop would have not only had me up an extra 300 due to the stop loss. But in total, I'd be up about 800-ish per account, so 4K, if this hit. And then on top of that, I would not have entered this screen. I would not have entered this ES long right here because I would have just taken profits on this NQ long. I wouldn't have entered it. In fact, I would have still been in the NQ long by the time I entered this. So that would have been 2 red trades not only avoided, but plus a green trade. I'd be green on the day if that freaking stop loss didn't trigger. So annoying. So annoying. When I started off the day like that, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Because I knew it too. Oh well. This is bearish consolidation on NQ. However, it's taken a bit too long. I'm not super bearish on this consolidation, actually. Especially with this green candle, that's a bullish engulfing. I think it's going to break to the upside, then maybe go down after. But I'm going to hang out on my phone till one of my orders get close to hitting because I'm like right in the middle right now. So I'm going to take a break from looking at charts for a second. Unfortunately, NQ flipped a lot stronger than ES, so that hurts the likelihood of this trade playing out. But I'll just keep hanging out my phone and see what happens. Well, NQ is a lot stronger than ES, but I just looked up on my chart and it did not even make it lower low, so haven't even considered. Doesn't matter what PT I picked, having the further PT has no effect on it because I bare minimum wouldn't sell until low of day. So I'll hang out and see what happens. It's totally possible that it goes all the way back up to stop loss. I mean, it kind of has a reversal. It has enough of a reversal set to play out. You know, you got a buying wick right here on a doji, and it's stronger than ES, and ES is chopping down. I could see it happening, but yeah, I'll just keep hanging out and wait for something to happen. You know, this trade doesn't really start. The interesting thing in this trade, well, I thought it was going to stop out here, but now the trade is either going to stop out or it's going to start when it gets this low. That's when the hypothesis will really kick in, and we'll see if I'm right or not. That is very bullish on NQ. I'm surprised it flipped that strong without sweeping any low whatsoever. Crap price action. If you're not in a trade, though, and if I wasn't in a trade, I would be entering NQ longs if it invalidated most of this bounce. Sorry, NQ shorts. I would enter NQ shorts if it invalidated most of this bounce, and if it wasn't way stronger than ES. Otherwise, I'd enter ES, but that would be a great trade setup. It looks like it's gonna stop me out though. That's kind of what I'm expecting now. If it does, even if it does, it was a great attempt. You know, barely missed my stop loss in the beginning. Was able to move my stop a bit closer, and yet another, like the third time today, bright green to red trade. So gotta love FOMC days. If it does stop me out, you're gonna want to watch for it to break this trend line to the upside. He says we're in a 45-minute demand. Yeah, technically we are. We technically are because yeah, bullish engulfing, but and it shows it on the bigger time frames. I wouldn't. I don't consider though when it forms a demand, but we've been sitting in the same place. I don't really give any consideration into it. I don't give any thought into it because it's been in it the whole time. It's just kind of yeah. But I appreciate that though. Looks like ES may be going for new high of day. I mean, it did invalidate majority of the drop now. And NQ flipped a bit weaker, but yeah, invalidated majority of the drop, so technically leaning bullish for ES new high of day now. Nope, NQ's back to NQ got a lot of strength back. Looks like it's gonna end up stopping out. We'll see. I'll let the trade finish up. If I was not in a short trade, that would be a long trade right there, but I am out of time, so I'm done trading. Terrible price action. I wouldn't be surprised if right when I stop trading, price action gets good. Looks like it's ready to break to the upside and run really hard. Gave it the best chances I could. The trades were great. Most of my trades were bright green then red, and then the red trades, most of them just barely swept my stop loss and ended up triggering me back in or playing out. So not much I can do, but yeah, ES probably bullish to high day. NQ is so bullish for a trend line break to the upside here. I just don't know how high it's gonna go. Terrible price action this session. Terrible. Well, starting to look pretty good here, but like I said, this was bearish consolidation, but I even said I'm not very bearish for it to break to the downside. It was started consolidating too long. We finish documenting this and then I'll wrap it up. Two is that? Give me a second. Could not ask for a worse day price action wise. It's my first red day. Again, Friday could have been a red day, but I didn't trade that day, so I don't know. First red day since last month, since the 15th of November. I just sent out the recap. Yeah, ship price section, guys. Can't do anything about it. We didn't go anywhere this entire time. I started this session. Look, I started this session at 8:30, right here, when the Nasdaq was at a 963. I ended it right here, just 5 points below that. So, first red day real license, November 15th. Hopefully tomorrow is better, but you know what? We have Thanksgiving and then we have Black Friday afterwards. I'm not trading those days. I'm only gonna be trading tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we see volatility leave the market as most people are preparing for a 5-day weekend. So we may not see volatility really start showing up until Monday. But all right, well, with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm kind of expecting a break to the upside, but I don't know if that's going to actually happen, of course. Does anyone have any questions whatsoever before I hop out? No, everyone's good? All right, sweet. Well, I'm going to end the stream here. And good luck if you guys continue to trade. It looks like it's kind of ready to break to the upside, but I'm done. Gave it my best. I gave it my best shot. 3 of my red trades barely swept my stop loss before going green. 2 of my red trades were bright green before red. And I only had 5 red trades. So 1 green trade. But like I said, it's made back up just by 2 green trades. Why is this not? Hang on, I gotta fix this real quick. Okay. All right. I'm gonna end the stream here. Good luck if you continue trading. We'll be back one more time tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow's better because there's not FOMC. But all right, I'll see you guys later.